Stop! Ow!
Good evening. Welcome to your Ass Hurts News Network, coming to you live from the tip top of Cock Tower Square with your host, Sergeant Friday. Sarge, how you doing?
Click, Cletus. I'm on a stuttering streak.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on a stuttering streak because it's cool to stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I used to call friends and I would change the sound of my voice, and I called my buddy. I was like, "Oh yeah, y'all work on Cadillacs, right?" And he's like, he's like, "Yeah, we work on Cadillacs." I said, y'all do, and he goes, mechanical work. I said, that was rude to be correcting me like that. He was like, oh man, I didn't mean it. Oh shit.
So trolling's nothing new for you. I was wondering if you'd done that as a career for a long time, or if it's just since you got into true crime. But
what, the trolling?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been trolling people since I was a child. I think it's probably why they threw me out. They had a choice: build me a bridge to live under, or just throw me out. Holy fuck! I think they took the easiest path they had available to them. Oh man, yeah, I've been like that my whole life, man. It is kind of a way too, just so you know. It's kind of a way, in some cases, to say shit to people that they want to hear, but not say it in such a way that they take immediate offense. You know what I mean?
Or that they take such immediate offense to that they don't come back with an immediate response.
Right, or it gets violent real quickly. Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, my buddy had this guy's like this big muscle builder. I call him Blockhead. And he goes, I don't even know why I get to let you get away with it. Nobody disrespects me. Everybody calls me Ed, or they don't call me anything at all. I was like, well, Blockhead, I call you Ed when I want to, but Blockhead because your head's fucking square. Everybody notices it. You're just too afraid to say something. Because you got big muscles and I could beat you up. That shit don't bother me at all. Go ahead, beat me up. I'm still going to call you Blockhead. So, yikes. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. There's a lot of crazy people in this fucking world.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking A. I fit in there.
Yeah.
I was wondering, let's go for a 1 or a 2 in the chat room. For the people that have watched my videos and the people that have watched the live stream, which Sergeant Friday you like better? The live stream or the video? 1 for live stream, 2 for video. What do you think, Cletus?
A fucking 0.
You're my hero, 0. What do you mean 0? The 0 isn't the option. It's 1 or 2.
I think it's a combination of both, right? I think both have their place. Like, I think your videos are really, really good. I think the live streams are fun as well.
Right. There's 5.62 billion fucking morons out there to get a chance to experience this part of me. And I'm happy to share it. You know?
Yeah.
Why not? What the fuck? I'm not running around fucking kissing fucking licking Trump's ass or fucking Biden's ass or any of these other people. I think they all need a good fucking smack. I don't care who they are, where they came from. So Sebastian Rogers clip. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I did.
What did you think, honestly?
I thought it was probably the most genuine and important clip on the subject that's happened since he went missing, because it was the single stream that 100% is about Sebastian, because it was to him.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, that's that. Hey, you floored me with that comment. I didn't expect that.
I mean, that's just that, I sat and listened to it as you said it, and I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking or trying to just envision it, right? And you put yourself as a kid and consider that as a parent talking. And it was like, yeah, I could completely fucking see that. And I think is if he is able to hear that, that it's a really good message.
Well, I would ask the honorable, the exalted, the queen of moderation, the Cluminati, which not to be mistaken is 2 words or a name, which would be pretty cool. But in fact, the name of a show, Cluminati, all one word, to put me in her community comments a link to that video, and then even fat bastard Dago, see if maybe he'd be interested in doing that. I think that would help spread that video around, and it would really fly. I think at that point. So,
I would agree.
So just my request if they're listening, and I know Clue is she well, I don't know, if her mouth ain't moving, I suspect she's listening.
You are a smug son of a bitch. I thought you were going to ask me my opinion on it, how I felt about it.
See what I told you? She was listening, motherfucker. Now forget it.
How about this? I'll put it in her community tab.
Like hell.
Holy shit. Clue, I know you had a date. It wasn't blessed, and I just have that knack for triggering you. Anyway, what did you think of the video, Clue?
I told you this morning.
Oh, well, no, it's for the audience. You're not really saying.
Oh, okay.
My questions are rhetorical in that, it's for the greater good.
I think it was a very good, excellent video.
I thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I only poke at you and say that crazy shit. Just it's because I like you.
Yeah, I know.
Otherwise, I'd spare you the nicety of my trolling.
Why wouldn't you like me? I mean, just
what's there not to like?
Right.
There's so much to choose from.
You're such a fucking dickhead. If you laugh any harder,
if you laugh any harder, you're going to be single, please.
That was such a fucking great fucking insult, because it's like you're only going to get insulted if you take it the way that it's insulting.
Right. Otherwise, it's just a normal comment.
Right. Yeah. It's a compliment unless you make it an insult in your own mind.
Right. That's that's how you masterfully troll people. It can go either way, and it's all about what they perceive. Holy Jesus. Yes, Cletus. I never really looked at myself as maybe I'm one of the true authentic originators of trolling people. I used to do that to principals, teachers, students, anybody. It didn't matter. I'm sure that may have contributed to why I was
You're just a natural born asshole. That's all there is to it. So.
Oh my God.
It's your gift. Everybody's got a gift. That's your gift. Being an asshole.
What was funny was, and I grew up with some pretty stupid fucking stepbrothers and sisters. But I remember there was something happened during dinner. None of us liked to eat green beans. Not any of us. Right? And there were 4 kids. So something happened, and the parents had to go outside for some reason. And so what I did is I ran to the toilet and I scooped like 99% of my green beans out of there and flushed them down the toilet. And it came back to the dinner table. And everybody jumped up. I go, don't everybody do it. They're going to know. They're going to know. And they all just ran and dumped their green beans in the toilet. All of them. Right. And I guess maybe this is why I think I'm a troll. Because when they came back in, guess who they pointed at for starting the fucking green bean evacuation? Me. Holy fuck, bro. Yeah, so I got stuck eating whatever was left in the pot. So I took the punishment for all 4 of us. It was fucking horrific. Green beans suck. But yeah, I think a matter of fact, it's too bad they passed away, because I should probably go back and give some kind of apology. Holy fuck.
Oh shit.
It's just some crazy shit, bro. But life, even when it's fucked up, is awesome. What are you going to do without chaos, right? You need some of it.
Yeah. I guess
so what else is going on? We heard from Chris and Katie. How are they doing? How about Sebastian? Any word on his Has he been discovered? Any clue at all on that?
Not that I have heard or seen. No, sir. The latest is the same as it has been.
Yeah, it's tragedy.
Nothing new in terms of pertinent news, and a lot of bullshit and more digging into families that are unrelated to the situation.
Digging into families, I honestly think I'm not really pro digging into the families, as I mean, but I am pro giving people back what they give out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you're going to take a path, for instance, you guys troll me, I don't get mad. You say shit, and we
Unless
tease
they
each other.
bomb your chat with fucking barrage from cocks.
Well, if he were to come in here and do it now on just a non-technical, non-important fucking stream, then that, like most of it, his timing sucked, and StreamYard threw me for a loop. Between his timing and seeing everybody's shit was blocked, just blocks instead, no letters at all, just fucking blocks. I'm like, what the fuck is that, man?
It was so worth it though.
Your computer fucking glitched. I can sense the panic in your voice.
Fox Off I'm gonna guess Fox Off put a rooster because I got a rectangle on in her comment. Let me go to YouTube. Yep, there it is. But I'm telling you, on StreamYard, it's a rectangle. Yeah. And I think it's cool what he's doing. I think that's funny as shit. But yeah, it was just it just didn't come together. There you go. I sent you a link. The dag. You just did a stream. I don't know if you got any steam left in you, but you're welcome to fall asleep up here on the panel. We won't take pictures and rub them in your face.
So what were you going to say? You believe in giving it back? Yeah,
I believe that there's times where the only way either to shut people up or to get them to recognize their own fucked up behavior is to just do it to them.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I mean, this idea that you can have an adult conversation, but no, fuck that fat fuck bullshit lying motherfucker. Right? And sometimes it needs to just be said straight out to the person. So if you're going to come out here and you're going to attack the parents the mother that's awarded custody and her husband for how many years they've been married? A while, right? 15 years?
No. 6 or 8.
They've been together, quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Seth is going to come out and start that shit and start attacking these people after we were told the same thing he was told, everybody's cooperated. There's no sign of foul play, right? Yeah. And then he's going to come out here talking all this mad shit. Well, then that fat bastard deserves mad shit talked about him. Who the fuck? What is he fucking? He's special? Maybe special fucking Ed, right? Which is true because he does probably come off that fucking spectrum, but he's obviously not grown up enough to do any kind of self-analysis or any kind of anything that goes with self-dignity. And he's attacking the primary caregivers of the fucking child. Where was his primary care? What did he pay support? Probably fucking not. Because if it worked right, I mean, so my point is, don't throw fucking rocks when we all live in glass houses, you fucking stupid bastard. And for these people out here to continue to promote and push and argue and follow his lead and incite him to do that, that's what they're doing, is they're inciting that. It wasn't, you know what, when I graduated high school, and this isn't a boastful statement, this is true, I had more referrals for fights than anybody in the history of my school. Okay? And when I got out of school, I realized my friends were inciting this. Guess what so-and-so said about you? Blah, 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 blah. He's going to come rob you. He knows you sell. He's going to come take your money. And then I would confront the person. And most times you're like, what are you talking about? I didn't say that. Whack, I'd punch you right in the face. Right? Crazy. But they incited me. And I was somebody that you could manipulate that way. And that fat bastard's the same way. Listen, we have a guest in the back room. Someone I haven't talked to in quite a while. The last I heard, he said I talk too much, which is fine because there's no inaccuracy in that description. Frank,
what's up, Mr. Friday?
What are you doing there, Frankie?
Chilling, my man. Long time no see. Good to see you again.
Well, it's always good to. Well, you're not actually seeing me. You're just hearing that voice that never stops.
Ah, smart ass. You doing okay?
Cletus!
Please.
Dago, can I ask you a favor, Dago? You friendly bastard. See, I used FB and I didn't insult you.
You
With
can
it.
definitely do that, sir.
Any chance you could put in your community post that link to that video for Sebastian?
Which one are you talking about, boss?
I did a little
Boss.
15 or 16-minute video for Sebastian. A message to Sebastian.
Oh, drop me the link in the Discord and I'll throw it in my community page. Absolutely, sir.
All right, cool.
You have to do everything for this guy. I swear.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, he's got fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. He's got to reach around his gut to get to the keyboard. Give him a break.
There, I sent it.
There you go. Go ahead, assault me.
You know what? After the fuck you both, the trolls that I dealt with today, fuck you both. I don't need no more shit, okay?
Don't rage quit now.
I don't do that.
Rage quit. Listen, Frank, what's new with you? How's your channel going?
Jesus.
Well, my old one got removed, so I need to start all over again.
Why did? Uh-oh. So what did you do?
I have no clue what I did. Probably something bad.
Come on now. You could tell us. We aren't going to hold it against you. Sure, we will.
No, I really don't.
We won't even
I really
comment
don't
on
have
it.
a clue. No, for real, I don't have a clue.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks.
I bet it is
Did you
what it is.
contest it? Did you tell them this, that, or the other thing? You know, like what the hell's going on? Did you find? I mean, you should be able to get it back.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, I did so many things that are, well, I talked to people that were in indictments. I talked to fucking FBI agents. So you name it. It's like multiple reasons why my channel would be gone. Yeah, I did appeal.
You did not appeal, or you did?
I did.
And they didn't respond or take any corrective action?
No.
Jesus. Wow. Is it different there, Clue, when you monetize to when you're not monetized, and how YouTube enforces its rules?
Yeah, when you're monetized, you
Probably. Because I feel like when you're not monetized, you can just get away with saying whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you are almost like their little bots start listening more or something, because
The algorithms are paying attention to your
Yeah, like-
words.
I never stay monetized, which I'm cool with because I'm a dirty bitch. But I'm just saying, like, when they never like did anything to my videos before that.
Hold on, let me address something here real quick, if you don't mind. I don't want to take over your channel, but yeah, I did show filtered crime scene photos. That's right.
You showed a what?
I showed filtered crime scene photos because everybody was bitching about it, and there was another YouTuber that was showing them and giving a false narrative. So I showed them in full, so other people couldn't make up their minds without bias, without the false narratives. So yeah, that's right.
You should have put that on Rumble.
But that is not why I got removed, though. A lot of people think that, but that's definitely not true.
Was there someone saying there was children in it?
Yeah, but those images were already redacted. I even redacted them more because people were showing them with horns on it, and you name it. And those people were getting a lot of traction. See, and I own up to that. Trust me, I do. And people were just messing around with it. I didn't condone that, so I just showed them.
Yeah, Andy Pierce. There's a bunch of people critical in there. Well, we won't. The only thing we do with talking about kids here is in the fact that they're missing.
I understand.
God forgive.
I would never do that. I would never release crime scene images with naked girls whatsoever. Never.
I could see you, Odin girl. We see you showing up there. I'm talking. So I'll refer to the chat every now and then because Cletus, the co-host. Cletus.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any information or any news from the help desk? Is there any kind of information that the viewer could benefit from tonight?
Yeah, semen exits the male body at 28 miles per hour. Duck.
You've already said that. That's a repeat of known now factual knowledge to the people in the stream.
And it's totally worth repeating.
And there you have it, folks, from the help desk. I have been overruled. I'm going to ejaculate in front of one of them fucking radar signs for cars that tell you how fast you're going.
Jesus Christ.
I have one more if you're interested.
Yes, please.
For those of you men who have never tasted your own juice, it tastes like a soggy saltine cracker. You're welcome.
I heard something different. God, I can't believe that I'm going to tell.
What the hell did you just say?
No, never mind. I'm not going to tell.
Yeah. Please. Let's go back to more sane news. What time is it? So anyway, Dago, I take it you didn't watch my 16 minutes message to Sebastian.
No, I was at the hospital, Sarge. I didn't get to see that.
Oh, are you okay?
Well, we'll find out in a couple days. If I'm still here, then yeah. If not, then obviously no.
Really?
I got bit by something that I got bit by something. I'll show you a picture of it. And
well, you are a plentiful meal for anything that chooses to tear into you.
My wife thought it was a brown recluse, possibly, because it's that time of year and we have them around here, and it looks pretty nasty.
What? A brown recluse?
Yeah.
So I went to the hospital. They looked at it and gave me a bunch of antibiotics and steroids, and hopefully we'll see what happens in the next couple of days.
Well, you're doing.
Where did they bite you?
Right on my upper thigh.
Wow.
Frisky spider.
Yeah. How dangerous is that kind of a spider bite?
Look it up. It's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, they'll rot your damn hide pretty.
It causes necrosis. And I haven't had any of that happen yet. That's why the doctor was like, you might be okay, but watch it, so on and so forth. But anyway, it causes necrosis. It'll basically eat your leg away and down to the bone.
For real?
That's like
absolutely.
A bacteria.
Oh, that's going to throw your balance way off.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about my balance. You're right, Sarge. Thank you.
that is. Oh my God, that is such a bad joke.
I almost choked out of my fucking root beer. Well, let's hope everybody for the best for Dago. What did they give you for antibiotics?
Doxycycline.
They whacking it hard. They giving you many thousands of milligrams to start.
No, doxycycline. I take 200 a day, 100 in the morning, 100 at night.
Yeah, fuck that.
Holy. Are you not stoned out of your mind like 24/7?
No, I don't do anything else.
Last doctor I talked to about antibiotics said the best way to do it is you use your sledgehammer when you start and you wean down, because you don't want the infection to get a customer immune to be able to fight back against the antibiotic. In small quantities, he said, is what promotes that. Where you get resistance to the antibiotic. The whatever it is that it's trying to kill becomes able to fight back.
It reminds me of this Soviet soldier that got captured by the Germans, and he ate his own fingers because of frostbite.
Yeah, that's
no Southern gal. It looks like a nipple on my leg. I'll be honest with you.
You're not making it any better, Dago.
That's just because of age, Dago.
Either way. Like I said, if I'm here in the next few days, I'm good.
Did it just all of a sudden, did your thigh turn into a titty overnight?
Basically, yeah. I woke up yesterday morning with a little dime-sized mark there, and I knew something bit me. It hurt a little bit. And then I woke up this morning. I went through the day. I don't pay it any attention. Pain is not a big deal. I've been with it my whole life. So anyway, I woke up this morning and my wife was home from work today, and I was standing there and she's like, "What the fuck is that?" And I said, "Oh, I got bit by something." So she starts freaking out and this and that. So I had to go to the urgent care and talk to my doctor and blah, 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 and all that shit. So we'll see what happens.
My advice, listen, you don't have to take this, but I would recommend that you either talk to another doctor or look it up on WebMD. The appropriate.
I don't do anything off of WebMD. I refuse to do that.
I'm saying just check to see how the antibiotic should be administered. If the antibiotic,
I have a doctor's appointment at 10 a.m. tomorrow with my family doctor, so I'm doing that.
You could always look it up on TikTok how to treat it.
Yeah, TikTok fixes everything. Except people. TikTok breaks people. Fixes everything else, though, from what I understand.
I hope you're doing well.
So Cletus, where are we in the hunt for Sebastian? Any news on any new fronts opening up or any new groups of people? Anything? Your billboard stuff. How'd that go? How is that going?
So we did talk to Chris and Katie today, and I think we've got everything pretty well figured out. So I'm assuming from the hour of the day it is, tomorrow will be the day that she gets that going and gets them started.
Yeah.
So
what are we talking about?
The billboards. We're gonna get them. She's got her account created and everything. She just got. We were waiting to pick the locations, waiting to talk to them about it, and I think we've got it kind of figured out. So
yeah,
good.
Tomorrow should be the launch day for
them. Awesome. That is awesome to hear.
Well, keep us informed on that too, and also an image of that would be awesome.
For the billboard,
a banner out. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A picture of that, or once they decide you settle on a layout for it, I mean, we could banner that on the page.
Well, I think.
Yeah, we're just going to use the one that Duchess made.
Yeah, so she's just sort of taking over the campaign for Duchess, right? So she's going to use the one Duchess had and keep that going.
We did prove to people today, I by accident, I got to show people today the Sebastian Rogers billboards that are out there, that were out there from the pretty much the beginning. The people are running around claiming there's no billboards. Well, we found it today, so.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Everything recirculates in this stupid ass community. I swear to God.
Yes.
Like if these people out here, mainly, I'm sorry to say this, but you females, if you'd find a dick to jump on, you would get bored with this information.
Jesus Christ! But I do have to tell you that I agree with Clue.
That was hot.
She knows. Now, if people in the chat room, if you don't mind liking, that would be nice. There's something I learned from Dago about algorithms and those things.
What do we got here? What do we got? Let me look real quick.
I don't even know.
I got a cheerlead for everybody. I sort of fuck
46.
We got 101 people in here with 46 people. 101 people. 106 people with 46 likes. What the hell?
Come on, stand back in view of the camera, get your pom poms out, and do a little cheerleading for us?
Absolutely not. Can you?
Well, I don't have a camera.
Turn your camera on and do a cheer thing with your nose or something. I don't know.
God forbid something happens. I promise I'm going to get you a horse with no legs, so you're not like trapped in the house.
Friday, what happened to Chris?
Who's Chris?
You know, from Idaho 4?
Chris.
Willie?
Oh, Willie's still around. He's got his own channel, doesn't he? Has anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his own channel.
Yep, he does.
How's he doing?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him in a minute, but I know he's doing streams and shit.
That guy is hilarious. I'm
telling you. Yeah, I don't think I've watched one of his streams yet, to be honest with you. So
I did 2014.
I seen what 2014?
No, I was answering a question. The 2014 asked what happened earlier in my stream when I hurt myself. Yes, that's what I did.
What'd you do? Because I wanted to do the same thing.
I turned very, very, very quickly in my chair, like spun, and
you smacked your weenus.
Hit that fucking thing again with the corner of my knee.
Oh, your knee.
That metal filing cabinet I have, so that's getting moved. I'm done with it.
You probably need a chair with power brakes.
Or just move the filing cabinet. That's all.
Oh, yeah, that'd probably be easier. It'd be less complicated.
100%.
Or you could lose weight. Your knees wouldn't be as big.
Oh, damn.
I don't have big knees or big legs.
Your momentum could be arrested before you come into danger.
But Dago, how many times did that happen?
Well, on my left knee, it's probably been a good 5-6 times since I've been back here. When I was up front, I did it to my right knee about 5 or 6 times, so I'm done with it.
Just make sure when you move
6 times.
Make sure when you move that cabinet, you don't unplug any cables.
Yeah.
No, I'll be marking everything.
Someone's asking, where's Frank from? I have no idea. Frankfurt, where are you from?
Frankfurt, Netherlands.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Another NATO country that inspired the war in Ukraine. We love it.
Dude, I don't mess with that. I have been to Ukraine.
Well, yeah, that's your neighborhood over there, bro. For us, our neighborhood is China, and it used to be Mexico, but that's slowly not working. They're actually kicking Americans out. They literally are kicking Americans out in Mexico. What a crazy world we live in.
How we do.
So I got Cletus. Cletus.
Yes, sir.
You take the floor for a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, about
Shit
that.
sucks, don't it?
It does. This is the second time he's fucking put me on the fucking spot.
You're the co-host. I can't put you on you're the damn co-host, bro.
Well, the title is hashtag Sebastian Rogers, right? And I think we kind of got derailed from that. But I think, coming from Dago's stream, it's and watching what he's doing with going back through the interviews and any kind of press releases and conferences chronologically, I think is a really good thing. I've seen a lot of streamers doing it, but they're all doing it from their own biased view. And you can see that from the thumbnails themselves and the titles as to what their purpose is. And I think, what Dago's doing and going back through and actually evaluating things, from the point of view of hearing it for the first time and trying to block out any bias that you may have developed. But I think also going back through it and looking at it from sort of a case study on how do the narratives get created and were they fair, were they not, what can we learn from this situation as to not basically destroy people, families of missing kids going forward, because this will undoubtedly happen again if people
100%.
don't learn from the mistakes that they've made in this go around. And I don't really anticipate a huge turn in it when it does happen again, but if one person learns something from this and learns how to do it in a better way, then I think it's worthwhile to go back through it all and do it.
Yep.
Maybe we should stand up we're gonna make your ass hurt army.
Well, see, that is kind of the thing, and I noticed that as well. Just in general, I think Dago would agree with me. A lot of people move from one case to another. They kind of bring the same community with them. We can see that, for example, with Chris Watts moving on to, I don't know, Delphi, for example, or whatever. There's just a lot of people that are in the same community that have the same emotional feelings about certain cases. If it's, look at Friday. We talked a lot. He is really discouraging against the government, whatever. I don't care. But the thing is that if you have these cases, these missing person cases, right? There's a certain community that thinks that everything that the family does is automatically wrong without a proper argument. And they spread this information that is really misleading.
Yeah. Well, it's worse than that. They also defame people that they have no factual data to defame them with. I mean, it's one thing in anybody's past. You could dig into someone's past. I don't care who they are. You're going to find something. But unless that something pertains to the actual event that's on the table right now, shut the fuck up about what they did.
There's no reason for any of it. None.
No.
Let me say something real quick. If this case would have came out, the Sebastian Rogers case, okay? If this case would have came out and they had a 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers missing, he's autistic, so on and so forth, and then the next day they would have came out and said, Carissa and Katie Proudfoot are absolutely responsible for this out of law enforcement's mouth. They need to be investigated. We're running that investigation as of now. We believe there's a criminal act that has been taken. Guess what, folks? Guess what we're doing at that point? We're going straight.
Your mic is muted, Dago.
I think you unplugged it.
he hit his knee. His cable is unplugged.
Is he literally adjusting while he's on?
I think
Is
so.
he still talking?
Yeah, he has no idea he's muted.
That's hilarious.
He has no fucking idea.
Dago, Yeah, he's even his hands.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
There we go.
Because
That
this
fucking ONOFF button.
We don't need to know the reason why. You can keep going.
it's this fucking microphone. You touch it and it turns off. Anyway,
Yeah, I've got that soft touch mute too.
Jesus, when did you stop hearing me?
Well, for quite some time. Oh, I don't know.
Okay, anyway, I said if Chris if the police would have came out and said Chris and Katie Proudfoot are absolutely guilty of this, we have proof of this, that, and everything else, blah, 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 so on and so forth, then yes, we would have been right there, front row seats going after them. There's a reason at that point. None of that has ever been said, so there's no fucking reason for any of this. None of it.
No,
On either side, to be honest with you. I mean, there's questions to ask, but that's it.
Mhm.
Well, except in the fact that topic, actually, the attacking of them came from the from Seth.
Yeah.
And the creators jumped onto that and actually helped promote and push that narrative.
100%. 100%.
Sarge, I'll be honest with you today, and I'm pretty sure Clue and Cletus caught it too. I mean, they knew it. We were 3 days into the investigation today in Duchess's interview with the Proudfoots, right?
Right.
And there were people attacking the Proudfoots in that interview in her chat already at that point without Seth ever speaking. So going along with
the viewer is that's what you're confirming. The 5.62 billion jerk offs out here on social media.
That's what I'm saying.
That drive that narrative.
I mean, Friday, let's be honest, that is never going to change. It's people their observation, it's people their emotion.
It's not even that. Is YouTube is made of people that have to find a blame for everything. There can never be just it just happened. He just walked away. He ran away. Unfortunate circumstances happen. It's got to be blamed on somebody. Period.
Well, but
I agree.
Sorry,
to Frank's point, he said that's never going to change. I mean, so I'll say it like this, right? If I truly felt like it was never going to change, there's no way to make an impact on that whatsoever, then we should all just make a moral decision of capitalizing off of the grief and tragedy of others, or just get away from the internet altogether. If we don't believe that it can be used for what it was intended, then we should just give it up or choose to be shitty people, one or the other.
It is fine to disagree with each other, you know. It's fine to cover each other, call each other names, but in the end of the day, it's about one thing, isn't it? I mean, we all cover these cases, we all have different opinions, and if we want to call each other names, sure, go ahead. And if we disagree with each other, sure, go ahead. If you have moral issues with it, sure, go ahead. I mean, that is what YouTube is for. I mean, we all have freedom of speech. We all can have each other's opinion. But in the end of the day, it's all about the cases that we cover.
Well, right. But my point is about being able to change the viewer and have an impact on the viewer. That's what I'm talking about, right? And
he says, no, Frank, we've already done that by the thousands. Dago's channel, Clue's channel, this channel.
We have actually, yes.
We've got people that are willing to stand up and say enough. Cut that shit out. Leave the parents passed out of it. Where's Sebastian? Right?
Exactly.
Same thing in the Koberger case. Enough about your stories about Brian. The facts that you've used to arrest that man can't be proven. So what the fuck did you arrest him for? And there's enough people now standing up making that point. This can change, but people need to be led by example. That's the problem. The only example you got of these jerk offs like that midget T-Rev and all the other streamers that fucking jump off into this nonsense and they go into the drama. And those people need to be confronted and pointed out and stomped on.
Listen,
when people sense that there's a home to do that, where they get comfortable, they know doing the right thing is the best thing. When that example starts to spread, that will take over the internet. Will it take a long time? Sure. But it has to start with us.
And that's it. And when you have people that are coming out, and this is not word for word what was said, but are basically saying, you know what, fuck you all. I'm going to continue to play on the drama because that's what makes me money. Those words were said, not exactly the same words, but that's what it meant when he said what he said. That told me that there are creators out here that don't give a shit about the victims, their families, or anything that has to do with the cases. All they care about is how much money they're putting in their pocket every night. That is the problem. Period.
100%.
So when that changes, then it is the viewers are being made, and like what Sarge is saying, in my opinion, The viewers are being made to see that now. Like these people don't care.
Well, the
There's
creators that do that are the drug, right? It's a fucking addiction. It's no different than anything else. And the creators are the drug. You got to convince the viewer that they don't need that drug and that there's a better way. So that's ultimately the way.
It's kind of like a cult, I mean, people get drawn into a community, feel welcome, and it's really hard for them to leave because a lot of, I mean, if you look at my demographic, for example, it's a lot of middle-aged women, and that is true because just of my demographic. These people want to offer me money all the time, and for the fact I don't really give a shit about what money I get, as long as they respect the values that I have, I mean, if I do research, then I want to be appreciated of my research, not necessarily because I want money. I refuse that. I really do. But the thing is that I feel like content creators like T-Rev with a large viewer bases are making use of these people. And that is the fact. I know, we all know how it goes.
Those creators are abusing the people in my opinion.
Exactly.
The viewer is the problem. Let's start with the clear message. It's the viewer that drives the narrative. Diego, you just gave us that explanation. You just gave us that explanation in the Chris stuff.
Now, listen, you're right about that to an extent, but that has to start at one point. Everything starts and ends somewhere. It started one place, one time, somewhere, and that was a creator that put a drama-based story out and ran down the road with it, and then the viewers jumped on that horse and followed right behind and said, "Holy shit, this is great!" And here we are now. So it had to start somewhere. So I agree with you. It is the viewers at this point.
Yeah.
It started with a creator that had that idea and decided to be greedy and do what they could do to line their pockets on both sides. That's all I'm saying.
But hold on, because we've had this debate, and I'm going to present my argument to that. Every creator, when you got on YouTube for the first time, did you get on YouTube and start a channel, or did you watch other channels?
I watched other channels, of course.
And
I watched other channels.
The original creators undoubtedly watched mainstream media, and then they decided to, okay, well, let me venture out into this world. I can do it in this medium called YouTube, and I can try to separate myself and be my own version of mainstream. But undoubtedly, the corruption that exists in all of us is what takes over.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like I started in a different genre. I had nothing to do with this genre when I first started, so that was a difference. But when I came in here trying to get away from what has happened in here now, and doing something different. And I thought, oh, this is great. It's going to be easier, and or not easier, but a better platform, where you can sleep at night knowing you're trying to do something good. And I watched it crawl up the grapevine very slowly and turn into what it has turned into, and it's very disheartening. And I agree with you. You're right about that. Okay. The way everything happened. I do agree. And it's up, like going back to what Sarge said, and I know I'm all over the place. That's my ADHD is kicking my ass right now. But anyway, Sarge is 100%, 150% right, in my opinion, that it has become the viewer now. The viewer is begging for this to be what it is. And the creator sees that and knows that's going to bring them to me. That's going to bring them to me. That's going to bring them to me. So in turn, they take that and run with it. And it does make money at the same time. I agree.
What I've said, listen, the only reason I'll call other creators out is because of this simple fact. The creator, the host, or the people that present these YouTube channels have a moral obligation to themselves first, and that should carry over into the channel.
I agree.
So when somebody comes into the channel and they start telling you about Chris Proudfoot, Child Protective Service, you shut them down.
You can't just make that shit up, right?
Supposed to stop that conversation dead in its tracks.
Exactly.
If you are hosting, and that's what you are, you're not really creating anything. You didn't commit the murder. You didn't miss this. You know what I mean? What are you creating? You're taking available information and putting it on a show. Therefore, you're hosting this information, and you have a responsibility to yourself. Fuck your viewers.
Hey, the queen of moderation would like the queen of moderation would like the floor for a moment.
I was just about done with the
queen of moderation.
Something that Dago just said almost alludes to, there probably is a bigger problem. I'm with Sarge on this. In the viewer total, right? So like he just said that he didn't start out on YouTube and true crime, he came from somewhere else. The same thing about Terry Lynn. She started in something like 90 Day Fiance, which I can only imagine it has to do with a woman and a man, and that just means bullshit drama. So honest engine, if I knew that about that person, I wouldn't watch that person, because what you're gonna do is you're
You already know.
You're trying to find a niche where you can fit in and get viewers. And the problem is, bitch, you're about drama. And what you're going to bring to true crime is drama. And that's a fucking problem.
It's like Kim Kardashian covering true crime.
Right. Like, I don't. So, as a viewer, when I hear that about you, I'm like, oh, okay. So pretty much what you're going to be coming in here and doing is probably going to be sensationalism, not actually truth.
And
I don't fucking like that. Like, I think that's crazy. If you couldn't make it over there, why do you come somewhere else and think that you're just going to thrive there? Like, I got on YouTube for one reason, because I was into true crime, not because I was cooking and no one wanted to watch my fat ass make bread.
Yeah.
You bake bread, you don't cook it. Just
very, very true. And like I said, when I started, it was different. I started in a drama community and literally started a channel to try to stand up against bullies that were bullying people on the internet. That's all I was doing. Well, we did what we did, and my wife looked at me and said, "Why don't you go do what you actually like to do, and see what happens?" Here I am, because I started doing a little by little over there and was gaining people, and I loved it, and here I am now. That's how it went. But you're absolutely right, Clue. I've seen people bounce from into three different genres trying to make something out of what they're doing, and it doesn't work. So maybe you just don't need to be here. That's my opinion.
You know what also kind of comes with the true crime responsibility is we are all passionate, right? And when we become really passionate, we say stupid shit, we do stupid shit. I mean, and we need to own up for that, and sometimes I have to be. I'm not always right. Clue is not always right. Sergeant is apparently always right.
You're new here.
I should have reversed that. Okay.
I knew that was coming.
But the fact of the matter is that the hosts themselves, and all you're doing here is the same thing mainstream is media doing. I love when people say, "I never listen to mainstream media. I get my stuff from social media." Yeah, you fucking idiots. The same thing. You get creators like T-Rev, you get creators like Bullhorn Betty and all these other crazy bastards.
Oh my God.
Their only purpose in life is to generate fucking drama, because people, everyone wants to rubberneck a car accident. It's impossible not to, right? So so they create this big herd of rubberneckers and they feed them. And the herd adds to their own fucking desire to be fed. And you got social media platforms that are a fucking ridiculous joke. Nothing of significance is discussed on any serious level.
But it's wild, right? I mean, I remember my first interview with Enon. I mean, hell, within a matter of days, that went viral on TikTok, and I was like looking at my views, and it didn't get jack shit. Like, people are so opinionated nowadays and so easily to judge, and it's just wow.
Well, slowly it'll change as time goes on. The more and more people are shown how to look at facts and only stick within the boundaries of the facts you have. Don't fucking dream them up. Don't bring in your fucking. Well, when I was I don't give a fuck what you did. The fact of the matter is, this kid went missing, and there's no discernible way to explain how he went missing, except that the parents have been cooperative, and there appears they have no involvement. And there's no crime. That's all you know. That's all you. That's all. That's the end of the fucking parents' topic now. That's the facts. And if the facts change down the road, then be amendable to that, and whatever conversation comes from that, stay within the fucking bounds of that fact. Quit jumping off into coulda, shoulda, mighta. Oh boy, look what he did 20 years ago.
Well, and that's why I think that's one of the reasons I think the video you did today is, like I said, it's the single most important in this case, because it's not only is it directed to Sebastian, but it's also directed to Sebastian from somebody that's trying to relate to him from their own experience. And I think if people
agree.
listen to that and really hear the story there, it actually paints the situation that we have to work with based on the information that we have to work with. It's a real life case scenario of another situation that could absolutely be and explain what happened here.
Do you think it would be of any value to play that in here?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't see
Play
why
what
not.
in here?
It's a 16-minute video that message to Sebastian Rogers.
Oh, your
I mean,
video. Yeah.
I mean, did you
That's
didn't have a
the
chance to
only
see
way
it?
you're gonna see it if you play it in here. You won't watch it on.
Yeah, I'm
What's
gonna
that?
put it on my community page too. I have the link. Thanks to
What
Clue.
did you say, Clue?
I said
I
that's
haven't seen it yet, so I could see it here too.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to play this video. It's only 16 minutes, and that'll and we'll talk a couple of minutes and end the show probably around. We're looking at probably 10, 15 at the latest. Is that okay for you there, Cletus? I know you do turn into a fucking pumpkin.
No, I'll try to prevent it.
Okay.
I'll fight it back.
Just play it.
Tuesday morning.
Stop talking.
The date is June 4th, 2024.
I'm gonna have to turn it up.
And
Sorry,
I'm
it's a little
Sergeant
quiet.
Friday with the Your Ass Hurts News Network. It's as loud as it goes from YouTube, man. I
Okay.
just wanted to put together a little clip, a message to Sebastian Rogers. Turn up your speakers, everybody. Sebastian Rogers, for those of you that do not know, is a 15-year-old boy, soon to be a man, who's gone missing in the state of Tennessee. The circumstances under which he went missing are almost mind-numbing. They seem almost improbable and impossible, yet they're real. Between the hours of midnight and 6:30 a.m., he went missing. There's no video footage. There's no cell coverage. There's no evidence to show that he went missing from his own home, other than the fact that he is not in the home. We were told that he had left the home with no shoes and no cell phone, and there's been no trace of Mr. or Sebastian Rogers since that particular morning, more than 94 days ago. And so I just want to. Why would this thing be hanging up like? Just send a message to Sebastian. Let him chew on this a little bit. I suspect that if you're able to listen to this, Sebastian, you might find it funny to know that my real first name is Bruno. I don't know why it's hanging up. And I myself, at the age of 14, was actually homeless. I'm going to hit refresh on the YouTube browser, folks. Displaced from the home that I was in with step parents, and I found myself living in cars, but still maintaining my schoolwork as best as I could, depending on the school for meals and for other things. So, being that I'm a lot older than you, back when this happened to me, this was more than 40 years ago. The world was a different place. Services that were available to us and things that could be done or could not be done are much different than they are today. But let's get back to the topic of you, Sebastian. I had a hard time with my family. I had step parents and no idea who my real parents are. And you are in a similar situation to an extent. And Chris, Katie are your parents. And, as everybody keeps pointing out, he's your stepdad. But nonetheless, he's the adult. He's the father. He's the role model and the man in charge of providing for the home. And of course, he does that. Things that he does or doesn't do, you may not agree with. The same goes with your mother. You have a father, Seth Rogers. It's estranged from you in as much as through the divorce process. And again, he's as fallible as the rest of us, and as fallible as Katie and Chris. And I'm sure some of this may have something to do with why you walked off. I also am what they call autistic, or on the spectrum of autism with Asperger's. And Part of the reason I was displaced from my home was because I had my own ideas, my own wants, my own desires. And I can tell you that it made me who I am now. The capacity to communicate, to mingle with other people, to fit in, actually was the benefit I got from going my own way. Obviously, things are tough, things are difficult, things are never the way we want them, and you have to weigh that against the not just the dangers, but the challenges that are faced when you're so young and you move on or try to move on. Now, I suspect and I hope that there's adults that are in your circle at this time, or have been from the time you've gone missing, adults that have your best interests at heart. Adults that, unfortunately, Sebastian, would be possibly in the commission of a crime. For the longer you stay missing, the longer the people that may or may, the longer the people that are helping you, the longer you stay missing, the more problems they're going to incur when you do decide to come back out and resurface. So I guess in this message to you, I want you to consider that the people that help you, that seem to be better than your parents, and the people that agree with you, or the people that want to give you exactly what you want, whatever the reason, you're putting them in serious jeopardy and danger. And in addition to that, obviously your real parents, when you're fortunate, you got 2 dads and a mom, which is I know people think a bad thing, but in reality, it's kind of a good thing when you're trying to grow up. And that unfortunately, I think, is what we as children, because we're not old enough to look back yet, but when we're in our early teens, we have no understanding or concept of what the role of the parent is, and what the economic situations of the parents are, and what their emotional issues are, or whatever it might be. But the point is that parents are highly fallible. Parent and priest and police and judge, and those are just titles. Never forget that there's always a person that wears that title. But that title in and of itself does not mean that they're going to act, behave, or do anything in any specific manner because of that title. A priest can lie, a judge can lie, a parent can lie. All of these people can have addiction issues. All of these people can have amazing things going for them. They could be honest and loving and cheerful and happy and doing all the right things. But not all parents and priests and judges and anyone else you give a title, not all of them are able to do that. We're all faulted. We're all faulty as human beings. And you should be aware of that, because that faulting of human beings does basically rear its head the most when you're dependent upon other human beings when you're young. And it seems to affect us much more when we're young than when we're older. When we're older, we have the abilities and the means to actually make choices and then stick with them and go with them. Where when you're young, like you, for whatever reason, you felt the only choice open to you was to just run away. And I get that. I understand that. I ran away multiple times before I actually didn't need to run away anymore. They kicked me out. And, I don't fault them for that now. Back then, I hated them for it. Oh, boy, did I hate them for that. And I could get into a whole litany of things that I didn't like and I hated. But let me just say this. When you get older and you can reflect, you'll see that regardless of what it was that you lived through, the only thing in life that matters is yourself to yourself. And you've got to do the best things for yourself. Even when doing the best thing for yourself causes you discomfort, irritates you, angers you, you must put yourself first and do the best thing for yourself. And running away and hiding is definitely not one of the best things you can do for yourself. You're not quite a fugitive. You're not in a situation where there's been any crime. Running away is not a crime. It's not criminal. But the damage done and the wreckage left behind you when you run away, and you have three parents that in their own way completely love you and are suffering, and that suffering is real. The suffering is real. You especially see it in your father, and you could see it in Katie, how she's crawled into a cocoon, and Chris trying to stand up and protect the cocoon. It's my hope that if you listen to anything on the internet or come across any of the things on the internet and the information that you're hearing about your parents, some bad, a lot bad, and the bickering of between what we will call your parents is very, very heart-wrenching, I'm sure. It's very, very eye-opening. These are things that parents, and you'll see as you get older, we all have skeletons in our closet. We all make mistakes. That's the point of being human. We all are wrong. And for some reason, Sebastian, we choose to hide from them or try to pretend things didn't happen or things aren't the way they are. And that's the tragedy of humanity. Being wrong is the first door that you open to actually learning. And discomfort and disagreements are part of life. You're going to have that until the day you're no longer with us. Could be 100 years old when you pass away. You're going to see that going through life is generally decent, generally easy, but there are many, many moments that you wish you didn't have to experience. And that goes for every single one of us. We're fallible. Our parents are fallible. Choices they make on our behalf don't always sit well with us, the child. Okay. And there can be a lot of tension. And so I can relate to your leaving like that. But I also can relate to your family. And then I have a daughter myself that's now 24. And I can relate to your family's heartache and their despair and their desperation to know that you're okay. And I didn't make this video to tell you to go home. I didn't make this video to tell you anything at all, other than to just let you know you're not the first 15-year-old to be in the position you're in, and you won't be the last. But what I think would be a recommendation, a recommendation I would like to share with you. Unlike your parents, my step parents didn't care what happened to me or where I went. They never looked in. They never even looked for me. They just let me go about whatever way I was going to go about. And, that's just even sharing that is a bit heart-wrenching, but let me just point out, unlike me, your parents do care. And I think that their level of concern, their level of love and care for you does deserve some kind of acknowledgement that you're okay. In some way, you need to get some message or some signal to your parents or to a loved one connected to your parents or to a friend connected to your family and let them know that you're okay. That would be the least you could do in this situation. But in all reality, it would also be the best thing you could do. Sometimes the most is not always the best. And sometimes the least, like in this situation, is the best. And so I guess, I was thinking of bribing you or offering something, but I think you're smart enough to know the anguish and the despair, regardless of how faulty your parents are, regardless of what things that make you angry about your parents, regardless of which parent or all parents, whatever the issue is that's made you separate yourself from them, they've suffered 1,000-fold with your being missing. And I would like to just ask you to some way, in some shape or form, reach out in a way. If you want to protect your anonymity, you want to protect your location, I'm not objecting to that. But I am asking that you actually reach out in some way. Let your mom Katie, your father Seth, and your stepfather Chris know that no harm has come to you, that you weren't kidnapped. I've imagined the fear and the terror they're living through. A lot about the modern world you may not know about. We do as adults. And it's horrifying what happens to children in this world. And it happens way too often, Sebastian. And just to put their hearts at ease, knowing that you're okay, would be a massive relief to not just them. Let me just say, to even the idiots online, including myself, who can be an idiot at times. I'm no different than anyone else. But it would provide massive relief to all of us in our hearts that you're okay and you're living your life. And that's all we need to know. We don't need to know where you're living your life, how you're living your life. None of those details matter. The only detail that I think would matter at this time would be just to know that you're okay. And you would be doing, I would at this point say millions of people a huge favor. And, listen, of course, they're all going to go batshit crazy and try to find you, right? That's not why I'm doing this. I'm not trying to trick you or, con you or hustle you. I'm simply pointing out that it would be a benefit to not just your family, but it would be a benefit, and it would silence these people on the internet that talk bad of your parents. Your parents, whether they're good or bad people, is not for anyone to judge. Especially somebody like me that runs a YouTube stream. And that damage that's been done to your mom and to your dad and to your stepdad because of the internet has just been, they don't deserve that no matter what. And so please, if you do get the ability to hear this, if you do go hashtag Sebastian Rogers, if you do come this crazy guy, Bruno, reach out in some way, a letter, a note, an email, something, so that they know that you're okay. And then let things go from there. I want to wish you all the luck in the world, all the happiness. I think all of us, or anybody that's heard your name, or anybody that's aware of your situation, I think all of us, no matter our disagreements, would agree on that particular aspect. We want to know you're okay, and we want to know that the situation you're in is good for you, and you're going to be good doing, or good being where you're at. All right, I'm running out of things to say, but Sebastian, just a signal. Send a signal. Let them know you're all right. And thanks for listening.
And there you go.
Damn it, Sarge.
He done made Dago put on his sunglasses.
What's the matter, Dago?
That's a good one. That's a damn good one, Sarge.
That was.
Well, I'm impressed I made Dago cry. And even though he's soft at heart, he rarely ever cries. He just hang up his microphone. He'll fall asleep. So I'm touched that you're touched. I want you to know that, Dick. But if anything you'd like to add or subtract or any comment whatsoever, you're welcome. Bring it. I mean, that's the whole reason I played the clip.
There is nothing to add to that.
I would challenge every creator that's covering this case to play that video either in private, and then if they feel so compelled to play it on their stream.
Right.
Because I truly think that's one from a completely unbiased point of view, directed in an unbiased way, that could actually be a productive and positive thing in this situation for the situation in itself. Because if you can't watch that and come back to the focus of it being about Sebastian and truly consider that, then you're in it for the wrong reason.
I also want to add this note. this channel, I never did this to monetize this. Nothing, I got a video the other day. It's got 9,000 views because people actually, I was told, some people posted it to their community. And I will never use something like that to put money in my pocket. I just don't need the money. And if there's ever any monetization of this channel, every single penny of it will go to a cause that the channel covers. It will not go in the pocket of the creators. Is that you agree with that too, don't you, Cletus?
Oh yeah.
We don't want the money. We don't want the money for the sake of having money. But we if we're going to participate in these topics that we participate in, some get lively and I do get nasty sometimes. I agree with all that. But the point is we're trying to make hard points that definitely need to be made. And sometimes the points need to be made like the video I made today for Sebastian. I mean, we're not just a one-way street. We're Cletus included. Definitely fucking Clue. She's more than multi-dimensional. She's galactically dimensional.
And what?
Galactically dimensional, he said.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at my own shit. But Diego, snap out of it, bro. Come back to us.
I'm here. I'm here. That was damn. You're one of the good ones, Sarge.
All that coming from a guy that talked all that shit to you when we argued, huh? You never saw that coming, did you?
You can ask Clue about that. I talked to her about that just the other day. So
Today, jackass.
actually, it was this morning. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I'm on drugs and stuff now for trying to get my web slingers to work and all that stuff. But anyway, I told her that this morning. So
Fingers. Spider me.
Mm.
Listen, and I think the resolution of this issue, regardless of what it may be, is also important to the community because this back and forth that we've seen and we're kind of helpless not to call out the bullshit, not to call out the moral improprieties. Tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of viewers are participating in. Somebody has to toe the line, and so unfortunately, that's where a lot of the streams, my stream, Clue stream, that's where they got stuck having to call the fuck hold the line. Enough of that bullshit. And the sooner this can be resolved, the more the skills that attracted me to Cletus or to Clue and to Dago was digging into stuff and finding information and looking at facts. Especially I used to watch Clue's channel long before she even knew I fucking existed, and I didn't even try to get to know her. I stayed in her and I would watch her stream and listen to what she was saying. It helped me form opinions I otherwise would never have had. And so she's good at that. And this chaos, this isn't really a derailment, but this pause in what she was doing before Sebastian went missing and what I was doing and Dago was doing and others were doing, even Truth and many other streamers that are trying to toe the line. Enough. Quit attacking the parents, you fucking losers. Find Sebastian. Find a solution to the case. And then we all can move on to look at another case. This in no way, shape, or form, other than keeping his name out there, if there's any benefit to it. But what kind of immoral people are we that the only way to keep a missing child's name out there is to attack and defame his parents? That's just sick.
it is. Think about let me ask a question. Any of these creators that were just being spoke at, okay? If you truly care about this child and finding this child, how do you think if somebody sat him down in front of a computer monitor or a TV screen and turned on YouTube and flipped to all your channels and let him watch what you do every day, he would feel seeing his mother and his father and his stepfather talked about like everybody does on a daily basis? How do you think that child would feel about that?
Oh, man.
Think about that for a few minutes, because I have.
Look at it. And if he's at odds with his parents, you're not helping him by confirming his disagreements or his angers or his animosities towards these three people.
Not at all.
No good can come of doing what's gone through with this Sebastian case. And that's where I say the streamers are responsible for that because it's their channel and they're a host. They're not creators. They're a host, and the host needs to hold a standard. If you don't want to be the mainstream media, that has no standard except destroying you. No standard except standing up for the government, regardless of what it does, whether it starts wars, no matter what it does. They're always on the side. If that's you suggest to us that you don't participate in that media, then you come here and create the exact kind of media.
And as a viewer, let me say this too. Stop supporting these creators that are doing this. Stop going over there and adding to the trauma that this is causing, okay, to the world, to these people, to this child, to his family, to everybody that's involved in watching this. Stop doing it, because it is a form of torture, Lucky. Stop doing that. Stop pushing for more.
Right.
It doesn't help this child. If you truly care about a child that's alone, not with his family, not with the people that love him day in and day out, and are missing him more than anybody could ever imagine right now. If you truly care about that child, stop supporting these creators that are doing this, because you're not helping at all.
Not even not support them, but start to pull out and point out things that should be ended and stopped.
Exactly.
It's okay. Look, I disagree with people when they say, well, we're all entitled to our opinion. I disagree with that. If your opinion is based on fallacy, no, I'm not going to respect your opinion. Opinions, everybody should have an opinion, but an opinion should be a well-formed fucking piece of information that can be vetted and discussed. I know people think opinions mean, well, they're not, whether they mean anything or not, that's my opinion. That's not what an opinion should be. If you have an opinion on a specific fucking matter, your opinion should be completely connected to that matter. If you have an opinion about how to grow a fucking tomato, then your opinion needs to be on tomato plants, not what would happen if a tornado came through. Right? And what would happen to your tomatoes? What the hell's that got to do with growing a tomato?
And an opinion should be based on fact at some point, guys.
Correct. The whole thing should be vetted with fact. And that's why information shouldn't be believed, and information shouldn't be opinion based, and the opinion accepted as, well, it's okay to be wrong. No, it's not. It's fucking not okay to be wrong in an opinion. When you're dealing about a specific topic, your opinion about whether you like chicken or not, that's an opinion. It's your personal experience and opinion. Fuck chicken. I don't eat chicken. But when you're talking about the Idaho 4, when you're talking about the Kansas City 3, or the Donna Ives case, or the Sebastian Rogers case, this is the period of time I've been involved with true crime. And the opinions are fucking like everything else. Everybody's got an asshole. But your opinions should be well-formed thoughts based on the information in front of you, not just, well, I feel like the fraternity did it. No, there's nothing connecting the fraternity to the fucking.
Based on what? Based on what? Right.
I don't want to hear your opinion. Right. And if people treated opinions that way, and people will eventually, you'll see opinions will be formed. There'll be well thought out statements that then can be discussed. That's what an opinion is supposed to do. It's supposed to encourage conversation. It's not supposed to be some wild, well, the guy must have done a fucking U-turn. He did a U-turn. The frat boys, the Grubhub truck, the reflections in the asphalt. Those aren't opinions. That's assholeism. That's ignorance. That's
tunnels and all that shit. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. Right.
And you know what happens if you stop watching these people do this on a daily basis? They're going to see that nobody's watching it anymore. And guess what happens? Then they have to change the subject to find something somebody's going to want to watch. And if you continuously keep doing it, eventually it's going to change.
Right. And
it has to, guys. It has to at that point. Then there's nothing there to do that with anymore.
Well, I want to just point out to people that everything has changed, and the change has been uncontrolled by we the people. We the people have changed. They don't even do a pledge of allegiance in a school. We don't even hold our school to a standards that's pro-American. We don't do anything as a group. We got the most important, most powerful weapon of all. It's called the internet. More powerful than all the nuclear weapons, because you can actually change people. The media, the advertising, the entertainment industry, all of those change your perception on the world. But what really matters is getting lost. And unless we start to point these things out for ourselves and start trying to hold others to a decent standard, not some holier than thou, your religious standard. I don't want to give a fuck what your religion is. Just a standard of decency among fucking each other. And to tear apart these parents like this is makes me want to vomit. It has absolutely no benefit to finding this young man. And you may be giving the kid more reasons to stay away. Think that one through.
Absolutely.
Right.
If he's hearing all these horrible things that he's never seen in his life, within his life, and he's hearing all these people say this, Would you want to go back to that? Think about it for a minute.
What do you think, Cletus?
Uh, No, I'm here. Been moving around doing some things.
Well,
So I missed 90% of that, but yeah. Fuck yeah.
well, no, a lot of it. Listen, a lot of it is stuff we've talked about. We've heard it thousands of times amongst ourselves. But to me, that's how we've become programmed, right? Why do you think I buy meat today? I go to Facebook. There's 8 other meat companies offering me specials.
It's all.
I don't need that in my life.
Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing that anybody that is listening or could listen to this and get their ass hurting about it is to remember, me personally, I'm speaking for myself and about myself and to myself. And I'm listening to what you're saying and applying that to myself because I'm just as fucking guilty of it as anybody else. And it takes a constant fucking check on myself to not participate in the bullshit.
I get caught up in it too.
We all do.
Easily, we're all brainwashed.
Yeah, it comes and it fucking goes, right? I mean, it is what it is.
The reason why I started what I started today, this little series I'm calling it, okay, is because of this. Because there's got to be something positive we can do within this case to keep speaking this child's name and showing his face on a daily basis. Well, I'll be damned if I'm going to get involved in that crap that's going on. I'm not doing it. You guys have heard me say that I won't do it, okay? I'll get on a panel and talk about my thoughts and feelings on certain things, but I'm not going to run anything on my channel that promotes any of that bullshit. So I thought about it and came up with an idea that I think is going to be a really good thing that we can all do. And like Cletus said, it provides for a really good case study on the way this has all happened, okay? In the end,
if for nothing else, it will be that.
Yeah. Yes, it's a twofer in my opinion. So
right,
take your time and spend your time looking at something like this, thinking about something like this, which could actually possibly give us some idea as something that could be done to help find him, rather than all this other shit. Okay, because it's not worth it, guys. We are better people than this, and we need to be even better than we are. Period. Okay. That's just facts, guys, and that's absolute.
Well, and I keep talking about a case study and talking about future situations because I think at this point, I mean, the damage has been done, right? It's done, and now it's just a matter of how long is it going to be regurgitated and chewed up and renewed and then shit out again. And the only thing that can come from that could be a positive is to learn from the mistakes that got us to where we are in this case and make damn sure we don't fucking do it again. Because there's been absolutely no value in it. It's devalued the entire situation. Look at how many people have stopped covering it. Look at how many
another
people
streamer
have stopped watching it.
Is her name No Nonsense or something? What's
Nonsense?
Yeah, nonsense.
Yeah.
I think she actually points out the complete chaos that these streamers help promote and get behind, right?
She does. That's what she does every day.
And she's got a decent following.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Cool. If you get a chance, ask her if she'll post that in her community too.
I'm sure she will, and I'm sure Duchess will, and I'm sure multiple other creators will. As Duchess is in the chat right now.
Or is it possible that these creators can provide their own message to Sebastian? That would also be awesome. You don't need mine on your page. I'm not doing this to get views or make any money. But I think that the more people that have a message to Sebastian, or the more people that'll push out the message that I had created, the better off it may be for the family and for Sebastian. Right? I mean, I think it'd be wonderful if a bunch of us started making our minds just one perspective and one message. And there's a lot of legitimate views that people can do in their own message. A lot of us are upset, we have emotions towards the missing kid. Anybody's missing kid. So we can use this as an outlet that can't hurt.
Right? I agree. I can agree.
Stars, I'm gonna jump.
But that's cool. I'm going to stay up for a couple more minutes, 6 minutes. I'll close it at 10:30. I'll keep Dago up here and try to keep him from crying.
All right.
Have a good night, Cletus. I'll see you tomorrow, bro.
All right. See you.
See that? I didn't even hang up on him tonight. I'm in a softer, mellower mode.
I think it's a good idea. I think we can all do. In fact, I'm going to do one too at some point. A letter to Sebastian, and that's going to be mine. I was actually thinking about that watching yours. It's a good idea.
I'm going to do these every day, Dago, or every other day, so that the stream gets a topic.
That's
and I'm going
fine.
to address these messages to many, many, many people, organizations. I want a message to Black Lives Matter. I want a message to a lot of things, even places that I disagree with. I want a message to the science community. I want to do a message to the media, to the personalities in the media, to the big streamers like the Rogans, or anybody with numbers like that. I want to make a message, a daily message, so that we then have a topic to entertain, but also so that hopefully these people do come across the message and give it a little bit of thought. Right?
I agree.
We have an immense power here on the internet, and we are completely irresponsible with it. You tell a child not to play with a gun, and look at how this can actually program a society's opinion. This internet, right?
Yes,
and what it's like playing with a loaded gun.
It's a great push. It's a great push for. It's a great push to the possibility of an amazing result. I absolutely agree.
Right? Imagine if, and I've said this a few times, and this is one of the most favorite things I've ever said about the internet. Imagine how much better it would have been for Jesus and Gandhi and Buddha and Allah and all of these people that spread a message, that created movements, right? And they did it on foot. Imagine if they had the internet, right?
I agree. It would have been a whole different world right now.
Oh my God! And here we have the internet, and what are we doing with it? It's
nothing. We're destroying ourselves with it, is what we're doing, and it's not what it is. We are the most powerful creatures on this planet, folks. Understand that. We have the most power anyone can have, anything can have within ourselves and each other. Okay, we as a single entity can do so many things. And the tools are in front of us, and people were refusing to use them in the right way. Okay.
I don't think they're refusing. I just don't think that this simple idea is something they've even come across their mind, because they're so in-depthly programmed to what's in front of them.
Absolutely.
Right. A lot of people can't get away from the idea of combustion engines and electric cars. And let me just share with folks that a combustion engine and electric car travel roughly the same distance, 300 miles, 320 miles. That's how far a gas car goes. Okay. Because if you get 40 miles to the gallon, right, you only hold 10 gallons of gas, 8 gallons of gas. You're not holding 30 gallons of gas in a car and carrying all that weight around with you, and a car that gets 40 miles to the gallon. Fair enough.
I agree.
So you have an average distance that you're going to travel. And everybody that jumps to electric cars, actually, in my opinion, you're being a moron. The context under which you're allowing yourself to look at the electric vehicle is you're trying to oppose the argument of global warming. And that's not the context you need to look at your transportation department
yes,
with.
Sir. Right? Yes, sir.
Trains are electric. Ships on the high seas are powered by electric. Yeah, there's huge diesel engines in there, but they drive electric generators. It's the most efficient way to move. And yes, you're still going to come in contact with fossil fuel. Yes, you're going to have power plants and things that are generating and polluting. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But when you can centralize your production of pollution, you can manage it. And an electric car needs no transmission. Electric car needs no brakes. Electric car needs no air filters, no oil changes. And here's the thing. It can be charged in 15 minutes to 80%. Almost all the cars that are available to us now. And that 80% means you can go over 200 miles. So if you forgot to plug it in last night, 15 minutes, you're going to be late for work at the most. Plug it in for 10, get 60%, get your ass to work and get home. Right?
Yeah.
So it is a viable solution. Yeah, your brake pads last probably 150,000 or more miles, because the engines do the braking. The electric motor brings the vehicle to slows it down.
There's not enough push to wear them down as fast.
Right. It's like if you were to downshift your transmission in an automatic or a standard, and you see how the engine takes over slowing the vehicle down. That is the main braking process of an electric vehicle. The electric motors slow the car down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
There's so much advantage to the electric vehicle. They're faster. Look at, I can go buy a brand new Dodge Cummins 1-ton pickup truck with all of the best everything in it and get maybe 1,000 or 1,200 foot-pounds of torque.
mm-hmm.
I can go buy an electric truck. This is staggering, folks. I could go buy an electric truck and get 11,000 foot-pounds of torque. Unimaginable. I'm a car guy. I'm an engine guy. And I got an engine in my car that makes 606 foot-pounds of torque and 650 horsepower. It's amazing. An electric motor would crush this thing. And the electric motor might weigh as much as 50 pounds.
I want to ask you
with 13 moving parts in an electric engine. There's nothing. I mean, it's crazy that there's so many people in society fighting against something that actually would benefit you in ways you can't even dream of. Go ahead, Dago.
Well, and I real quick on that, I'm just going to say people, for whatever reason, are afraid of change. That's one thing I've seen, but that's something else. But I do want to ask a question and then make a statement based on the answer, if I can, real quick. Sorry. And if you guys will, how many people come in here into the internet? Okay. And be honest, folks, nobody's going to judge you for it. Okay. How many people come in here truly and honestly for entertainment purposes? Honestly, put a 1 in the chat if you do and a 2 if you don't. I'm going to let that roll for a minute. But you guys do that, I'm going to respond. Like I said, I think people are afraid of change, which is why excuse me, they're afraid to allow these things. It's something that people are afraid of what we don't know. People are afraid of what could be. You know what I mean?
With you, except let's put this in context, okay? We're told that, but I'll give you examples in human history where that wasn't the case. The airplane, the jet engine that derived from the shaft-driven propeller.
Right.
Okay, these advancements were people were going along with because they weren't told the advancement was for some political cause or some fucking other bullshit. Right. Going to the moon, the development of all the technology that was required to get a rocket into space, for God's sakes. All of that people went along with, and all of that had massive effects on their lives. Massive change took place. Look at how many people there's. God only knows how many airplanes are in the air a day. Right. Jet powered. Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Going high enough that they got to pressurize the cockpit. People don't even realize. Well, people do. They do know if they're on an airplane. A hole in the airplane cabin, all your air gets sucked out. You'll die. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yet people go ahead with that change. And that's the catch-22 to the electric vehicle. It's the context under which it's being delivered to us as people.
Yes.
It's been intertwined into an argument that shouldn't be an argument on the merits of that argument. This shouldn't be connected to that argument, but it is.
I agree. D. Smith, real quick. I said, how many people truly and honestly come out here to the internet, to YouTube, not the internet, but YouTube to get entertainment for entertainment purposes? Put a 1 and 2 if you don't. Now, I know this is a second-sided question. I'll explain to you why I'm asking this, okay? Because I see a lot of 1 and 2, and I'm putting that in there for myself as well, okay? The reason why I'm asking this question, guys, and the whole basis behind this is because it's okay to come here for entertainment purposes. I started here, went to the AGP show, watching some old man scream and yell at his life all day long. It was entertaining. That's different. Coming out here to get entertainment from the misery from people's lives. Think about that for a minute. Think about if you were the person that were on the other side of that screen, being filmed and being made fun of and being ridiculed and talked down about, how you would actually truly feel knowing that hundreds of thousands of people are watching your life and your misery and getting entertainment out of it. That's not what this is about, folks. In this genre, especially. If you want entertainment, then go watch, there's so many different TV shows you could watch and other things you could do in here entertainment-wise, but this is not for entertainment purposes, guys. And I know most of you guys know that, okay? I'm just saying there's people that don't. And that's the problem, okay? It's become Let's go talk about this person and what they've done in their past, and watch them squirm as it's talked about, so on and so forth. That's not entertainment. That's sick. That is sick to live your life entertaining yourself based off of the misery of people's lives, guys.
Hey, here's something. Can I add this?
Please do.
People view everything. People view most of the world through the lens of entertainment, right? I mean, that's we've all been programmed to do that. And wherever you go, you seek to entertain yourself, entertain your friends, right? Everything you do, your whole life's about entertaining yourself.
Yep.
And so when people start dealing with serious topics, they don't know where to draw the line. This is no place to be entertained, or no place to jump on bandwagons to attack and defame and demoralize people. I mean, that you wouldn't want that. Imagine if you lived, well, in our history, we have proof that that's wrong when you look at the Salem witch trials. We have proof that it's wrong when you look at the constitutional limits placed on government. And so, I agree with you, Scooter. It's been turned into Salem witch trials. It's very sad. And we can change that. That's the best thing. We absolutely, as a group of people, can change that.
1,000,001%. 1,000,001% we can change that, guys, and we have in some ways. I've seen a lot of things change in a lot of ways, okay? And I'm very proud of that. I've taken part in that. Sarge has taken part in that. Clues has taken part in that. We do it in different ways, but we are definitely trying to push that change.
What did I say when I first met you? Why was I even on this fucking internet? You remember?
Yeah, absolutely remember. I do remember. That this tool, he said this from the moment that I met him, to be honest with you, that this tool, that's why I call it a tool. I learned that from him, is one of the greatest things ever invented. And what we actually can do with this, there's how many people? Okay, there's 85 people in here with Sarge and I that are all from different places in different areas of the world. Okay. And we can all communicate within each other and stand up for things that we believe in and things that need to be stopped or changed. Okay. And this is the best thing to do that with. You can't sit and write a letter to somebody and expect to get an instant gratification out of that. Okay. But here we can. I can make a comment in here right now. Carl Ferguson can run to another channel and say, Dago just said this. That channel is going to say, Dago just said this. And then somebody in that channel is going to run to another channel and say, Dago just said this. It is one of the most amazing inventions that ever was made.
And here's something funny, though. Usually when they're doing that, they're bringing up, it's creating, Dago said something negative or Dago commented about it, right?
Right.
Rather than spreading like the video I made today, a message to Sebastian. Running around sharing that would be a fantastic first step for a lot of these drama lovers.
Absolutely.
Right? And or making their own videos and keeping it on point, directed to Sebastian and his well-being, and staying away from any of the stuff you heard on YouTube. Even if you believe what you think about Chris and Katie, if you got this unshakable thinking that they did something, fine. I just tell you, shut the fuck up and keep it to yourself.
Until there's proof put out. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. If proof or if a reason comes forward,
yes,
then fine. Then that's available. That's a valid conversation. But don't talk to me about building a computer and then all of a sudden you're talking to me about fucking bananas.
Right.
All right. Or you're talking to me about coffee pots. We're building a fucking computer over here. Stay on topic. We're talking about a missing child. Let's stay on topic. I
don't think a lot of you guys realize the power you have, you guys. Yeah. You have, not me, not Sarge, all of you have the absolute power to make this what this should be. By doing one simple thing. And that's ignoring the stupidity, the ignorance, and the bullshit that's out here, and saving that time that you're spending on that for something that is real. Something that is good, something that's going to help all of us, because we are all together here, guys. And I'm not trying to go religious on anybody, but we are all the same brothers and sisters, black, white, Asian, yellow, red, orange. I don't give a shit what you are. We all come together from the same God. Okay. And if we don't support each other, who the fuck's going to?
Yeah. And it's even easier than that. If look at, I've said the difference between a child and adult is secrets and lying. Now, a lot of people are probably going to have, well, I don't give a fuck what you think, but I suspect a lot of people are going to struggle with this. But I'm going to tell you this.
Of course. Of course.
Here's the truth. Can you imagine being a particular type of person that had to hide in the shadows and live in a society but not be noticed? Would that be okay with you there, Dago?
No, not at all.
And
Not
how
at
can
all.
how can any religion at all ever promote something like that?
That's a great question. I agree.
And so you live in a world, folks, where a lot of things have never changed. There's always been men that dress as women. There's always been men that wear women's clothes. There's always been gay people, both lesbian and homosexual.
Mhm.
There's always been people confused, right? This is nothing fucking new. It's been in man's condition for thousands, for all the time, most likely, that we've been human beings. These people have been forced to hide in the corner. And now you're seeing them get a microphone and they're pushing back, trying to force you into the corner.
Yes.
And what you're seeing is history repeat itself. One side's inability to even accept and just ignore, or accept and try to understand, which is ultimately the best. But even to just ignore and not concentrate and treat and not demand people hide who they are from each other, right? That in and of itself is extremely liberating in the human condition. And rather than us embrace these differences these people have, right?
Mhm.
We want to just attack them. Now, I agree, they're going too far in how this is being approached and addressed to our children, but you got to blame yourselves for that. You got to blame yourselves.
Mhm.
Because that situation arises because of your inability on whatever moral obligation, moral thinking, religious, whatever it might be. Your refusal to accept that other human being as an equal in humanity is a tragedy of fucking humanity.
Agreed. And guys, listen.
That goes with color, it goes with race, it goes with religion, it goes with sexuality.
It goes with all of it.
Nobody
Everything we live with on a daily basis, guys. And I've heard people say the word "I'm afraid" and talk about fear and this and that. Guys, don't be afraid to push back. Look, you see this thing right here? This keyboard? We all have one. And everybody out there has one that's sitting here right now doing this on some form. Okay, I'm not saying they all look like this. That's all that these people are, is somebody sitting behind a keyboard, typing and showing their face on the camera and talking to you. That's all they are. They're nothing more. They're nothing to be afraid of. It's words, folks. It's words. So anybody that has that fear of pushback, stop.
Right.
Stop. It's not that serious, guys. You are in control of your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own actions. You can't allow anymore for people to control that for you. It's yours and yours alone.
And you shouldn't have to have secrets and have to lie to go from childhood to adulthood.
Never.
I honestly think some of these things that they call a lie, like no such thing as a Santa Claus, you're lying to your child. You can make that argument, but you can also look at it from the perspective of imagination, of hopes and of dreams and of, right? There's a whole bunch more connected to this idea of Christmas than just a lot of people where you're just lying to your kid anyway. Now, that is a misrepresentation of reality, but children often live in an imaginary world, right?
It keeps our children innocent, okay?
Yeah.
And it keeps them happy. If I could have that feeling again and live in that world, I would. I absolutely would.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, folks.
And so there's cultural mixing that somehow we've been denied. Somehow, whether it be through a religious teaching or through a personal opinion because you think it's gross or you think it's wrong, whatever it might be, that still doesn't give any group more power over another group. There should be none of that in the United States of America.
Stop making
the whole
excuses.
point this country was made, right?
That's right. Stop making excuses. There are none.
No. If we want the Constitution to be a part of this country, it's up to us to make it happen. That document has never been applied in this country since it was written. We've never lived under the context of that document, ever. Pieces of it, parts of it, but how do you explain slavery for as long as it existed? That Constitution existed long after, and slavery continued long after the Constitution. All men are created equal, my balls, back then, right? The people that wrote the document didn't write the document to tell you, look how we live. You need to live like us. They wrote that document as ideals, of goals, of things to work towards. The fact that they wrote it on paper didn't make it so. Freedom of speech. You couldn't have freedom of speech if you were black in the 60s and 50s and 40s and 30s. You couldn't.
Never.
Right? There you go. And how
Never.
Americans,
And-
you now have the chance with this internet to make that document a living document, not just words on a piece of paper that you assume something about them.
Here's a surprise too, folks. It's a surprise to some, I'm sure. It's always been us. Okay. It's always been us. We've just been brainwashed into believing we couldn't do it. We can't do it. We don't have that right. We're not allowed to do. No. It's always been us, and it's always gonna be us.
Right.
We have to be the ones to stand up and say, okay, I'm done playing your game. You can stop telling me your lies. It's my turn. End of story.
Well, even simpler than that, folks. Here's the best way to fix the problems that we suffer around the world. Is to just put topics forward that matter and will help make change.
Bingo.
I've often argued that the best thing we could do is to target a company with user agreements, like I had pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
I ordered meat from one company, and my Facebook is filled with all these meat companies offering. Listen, I don't want your offers, okay? And you're not helping me. I don't want you to know what I bought. It's none of your fucking business what I bought today. Who I am, where I live, what I do. None of your damn business. This is the United States of America, not Europe, not Asia, not fucking the Middle East or Africa. South America. This is America. And you have no business to what I did today. I don't fucking know you.
That's
you
right.
people know that I bought meat today because I was willing to share it with you. Right? And that's something that we should, as a group of people, we should start going after user agreements and get one company to capitulate through the threat of us leaving. And I swear to God, the easiest place to do this would be Twitter. It would be the easiest, most compliant site. There's no way Elon wouldn't go along with it. Mr. Free Speech himself. Right? He's cornered himself. He's susceptible to this particular point. But the point needs to be made. Your information is yours. Nobody should be selling it and trading it. That's you that they're trading. That's akin to slavery. And I shall not be a slave to the corporate fucking entities. And we've been enslaved literally by these people. I mean, it's so aggravating to me. But we all need to find a company, or at least I think that's the simplest way for us to take a step forward with the internet and show the world we understand the power of this tool and we're going to fucking use it non-violently.
Right? Yeah, there is no violence involved whatsoever, folks. And please understand that. And please always remember that. It doesn't have to be violent. It never has to be.
Right. And we could change it. The Twitter user agreement that doesn't protect our data like you would protect your child is nothing we're interested in. And we will close our accounts and cancel our payments for your blue checks immediately unless you reply to this demand. It's not that you're not being terrorist. This is America. Although the government has the right, the government can't invade my privacy. What the fuck does a corporation have the right to invade my privacy? And then to add injury to insult, what does the government do? They hire corporations to do the work for them that they can't do because the Constitution prevents it.
Right.
So you're caught in this loop. You can't even enforce the law against the government that's breaking your constitutional fucking statements because he's not doing it directly. The third party is doing it, and they're a private company and they're allowed to. Bullshit.
Well, and you know what? Carl made a statement, and I understand what you're saying. And it says, but I'm not personally going to bend my knee for the few. 90% shouldn't flex to the 10%, respectfully. I know what you're saying, okay?
What does that mean? Wait. What does that mean?
Because there's only a few people that are willing to do what you're saying, okay? And therefore, in turn, when only those few do it, it's not going to be enough, and then the pushback is going to be worse, is what it's saying. That's the problem, though, okay? The fear, and I told you about this before, Sarge, when we talked about this before. The consensus of fear is because of what has been drilled into our minds for how long now?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a statement that's not based on any individual thoughtful analysis.
Right.
That statement is just, Carl, that's the statement that they program for you to, your perspective is based on what you've been taught to perceive.
Respectfully.
Your context is not if you give serious thought to this, there's no effort and there's no loss And if you ask people that have suffered identity theft what they think about doing something like this, I think to the person they would all fucking say, yeah, you're right. That's probably how they got my credit card number. Right? There's no downside to this. None. It's only upside. And these corporations, especially companies like Twitter and others, they need to be put on notice. There's no harm done. We're saying, look, we don't want to interact with you if you're going to treat our personal information as a source of revenue and exposing me to identity theft and crimes on my person, crimes on my home, crimes on my vehicle. I mean, our information should be completely private, folks.
1,000,000%.
And so, it's not like I'm proposing people start a new religion or some bullshit like that, or go march on somebody. No.
Yeah, we're not trying to rise up and take over the government like at all. Okay, he says, no, I'm not going to ditch my morals and values for people that have no morals, and I stand by my morals, period. Well, that's what we're saying, Carl. Of course not. I don't think you're understanding what was said. Okay, so
asking someone to ditch their morals. That comment is absolutely exact.
No,
nothing we've said had anything to do
No.
with anybody compromising a moral. It's like
Not at
Carl's
all.
in here talking about fucking bananas, and we're talking about nuclear power plants.
Yeah, I think you misunderstood, Carl, because that's not at all. That's the exact opposite of what we're saying. Is that
Christ,
you're using your morals to make a change based on how you feel about something. That's all it is. That's why I said I don't think you're understanding what was said.
No, he's not even close to the points that were being made. It's like you're listening to a completely different stream, or you're so completely bought into whatever way of thinking you have that you can't see around the corner or out of that box. You're just trapped. Okay, this is a time to get out of that box. Telling Twitter we will not do business with them based on how they handle our information in the user agreement. There's no moral compromise there.
None at all.
They're doing an immoral act against you.
That's the immorality right there. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it right
troll. Come on, bro. Say something that makes us not think you're a troll.
No, standing up for yourself against immorality is the whole problem. Like when somebody's taking full advantage of somebody that, okay, let me use an instance here. There's an 82-year-old woman that is living off of nothing but what her Social Security. Okay, that's it. That's all she gets every single month. Okay, and this is going a little off from what Sarge is saying. I'm giving it an example though, but because of what these companies do, for instance, okay, they take this woman's last dime by making her believe that if she doesn't pay this, that she's going to have nothing. She's going to live without something of some importance. Okay, that would make her life miserable, and it's allowed to be done because of the way that the company or the situation is set up. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So it's an immoral act. It's ignorant. It's disgusting. It's sick. And they're doing it on a regular basis, and they're getting away with it, and they're allowed to do it because they found a loophole that makes it okay. And I know it's off subject from what Sarge was saying, is I'm just giving you like an example of a simpler situation. In my mind, that's exactly how it looks to me too. Okay, so if you do something like that by standing against that and saying, hey, why is this allowed? Why is this allowed to happen to this 82-year-old woman that gets $700 a month, and when she's done paying her bill, she has $10 left, and you're taking it? For what? Why? That's what I'm talking about, is stuff like that, okay? And the situation Sarge was talking about, some people don't understand that and what that means, but there's no immorality in that.
Wait, Dago, we may have taken, Butterfly said his comments before. You have to go up and see his comments before that. So we may not have seen every single comment to understand his complete context. That's fair, but that last
he said we the people, and then said, I'm not personally going to bend my... Yeah, I saw that one. Let me go up above a little bit further.
I didn't understand that.
I miss when we had morals, dignity, common sense, and decency, etc. Agreed. I agree, Carl.
Yeah, so there's things we may have missed, and if that's the case, Carl, I apologize. And Dago's clearing it up for us now. Go ahead.
My ex used to ask why I watched the news. I reply because I like knowing someone else has it worse than me. I'm being honest, and that's years ago. No, I get that. I feel the same way, Carl. So, okay, my apology if we took that wrong. I wasn't looking at everything, but I saw that one comment. So I agree with you, in that sense. So, okay, it makes sense now what you were saying. If you roll that back, I absolutely get what you're saying. And no, right, enough is enough. That's what that is. Okay. Everybody needs to be able to bend that knee. Everybody should be able to bend that knee without fear. Everybody should want to bend that knee. Do you know how many people are out there that are they're just okay with everything? They don't like change. They're afraid to no, I got you, Carl. I get it now. Okay. I don't Facebook or even smartphone. The world used to be a better. I agree. 1,000,000%. I absolutely agree with you, Carl. So again, there's so many people that are just like, just leave it alone. Just let it be. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But that's the problem, is it's so broke. Okay. Stop being afraid of that. That's why it's become what it is.
I want you to, if you can, this is something that I don't know that anybody will ever find inaccurate. But
No,
something that
knowledge without action is a prison.
People online, on Twitter, in politics, and in true crime, when they read this, are going to have a hard time even making sense of it, or a light's going to go off and you're going to ignore it. But the fact of the matter is, when you follow the news and when you follow what's happening in these streams and you follow what's happening on these other social media sites, they're loading you up with knowledge. Biden did this, Trump did that, verifiable, provable facts. This guy did this guy did it, this happened, that happened. Look at this, look what Dr. Fauci did, look at what this guy did. And you're given all of this knowledge, but there's no action connected to the knowledge on the people receiving it.
Right.
Right? Imagine if people were trying to give you the knowledge to grow food and you didn't act on it. Then what the fuck? You'll die, right? And in that simple example, all of the knowledge that we're being exposed to, all of the corruption, all of the chaos, all of the overreach of corporations, we are doing nothing. We do not act. Therefore, we created our own prison.
Our entire, Tammy, not just the educational system, it's all of it. It's all broken. It's all broken, okay? Every bit of it is nothing alike what this government was supposed to be based on at all, ever. And it's just continuously getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Carl's absolutely right, and I absolutely agree with you, Carl. This world used to be so much different and so much better. And the more we progress, the worse it gets. I mean, there's always been problems. Don't get me wrong, but
I don't know if it's ever been better. I don't believe that, Dago, and I'll tell you why. Because the ability to live life today has never been as simplistic.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So I don't think there's ever been a better time to be alive. I just think that at this current time, that statement, knowledge without action is a prison. Apply that to what you're seeing happen. When you think you're on the internet and you're collecting all this information, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on. If you're pro global change, whatever, global warming or anti, you're gaining all this knowledge, doing nothing about it, doing nothing with it.
Right. And that's exactly, Karen. That's the problem. We're supposed to just take it and shut up. No, we're not.
No.
That's exactly it right there. No, we're not. Why? I want to know why. What's that?
Gary, it may never fix itself, but that's the whole reason I created this channel. And you're seeing a bunch of other creators that are actually on their own going in the same direction, with not just calling out other creators, but telling people this is the only available data we have. That's all we need to discuss. And until new information shows up, getting people on that track. When I bring up going after companies for user agreements, people need to spread this among themselves, discuss it, come up with a better idea of something we could do as a group. How do we form a group? Maybe somebody can offer to build a website that you could do these for free nowadays, right or wrong?
Some of them, most of them can.
Yeah, it just takes someone with the skill to do it that has spare time to do it. There's so much opportunity within a group of people that connect to this internet.
Well, Tammy, a lot of us have the knowledge already that we just don't know about because we're not allowed to tap into it, because we have a fear to tap into it, because fear of the unknown. Whoa, what if I do this and then this comes back on me? And this and that. That's where the problem is. Okay.
And knowledge without action is a prison. You sit down, a lot of you guys that are going to vote for Trump. Okay. Let me just specifically point to you guys. You're watching all of this shit happen around him, and there's no action by anybody except tweets and poking fun at the people involved and making fun of the judge and accusing the lawyer. And you do fucking nothing to intervene or interfere electronically or otherwise. And you're filled with all this information. You're filled with all the lies. The government comes out, tells you something, and the later it gets exposed, they lied. And there's no action taken by the people. And the simple action you could take would be electronic. Where millions and millions and millions of us start sending data. Enough. We want this corrected. You can't be doing this. Guy shouldn't have done what he did. He should be prosecuted, just like Joe Blow that works at 7-Eleven. If you crosswalk Mr. Politician, Mr. Rich Guy, you should be ticketed just like me. And we need to start. We can push that. Matt, that's the fucked up thing. We have the tool right in front of us. And it wouldn't take long to change society. It just wouldn't. The problem is people are like, there's a lot. Well, people don't want to inconvenience themselves. People don't want to interfere. People don't.
That's it right there. Yeah.
So
And some of it is based on convenience. I agree. You're right. Some of it is based on convenience, guys. But if we all found one thing, like he was saying earlier, one thing that we could absolutely live without, okay? One thing that we could absolutely live our lives without having to worry about, that let's say something is we have to have that we buy on a daily basis. It is so expensive that it's just such a bitch to buy it, right? And we all just decided at one time, say, you know what? I'm not buying that no more. They're not getting that money from me anymore. Then what happens? They have to lower the price on it, right?
Well, get to the root cause. Get to the root cause. You know why gasoline is expensive?
Of course.
Because our government limits where these people can explore, drill, and pull the oil out of the ground. And because of that, they're saying they're doing that to save the planet. Well, I need to save my kid.
That's
another
from
you guys, right?
That's another huge issue as far as I'm concerned, Sarge, because we go over and start wars with other countries over petroleum for gas. And do you know how much fuel we have here in our own country that is just sitting there?
Listen, there's more oil in America than there is in all the combined known areas of oil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's insanity. It makes no sense to me.
Not only does it not make any sense, we know why that's happening, and yet what do we do as a group of people? We try to vote someone in that's going to change it, and it never changes.
It's never going.
All you're allowed to do now is vote. You can't get 1 million, 10 million people to send a fucking letter to the fucking president's office every fucking day.
And they have right. And they've drilled into our minds our whole lives that you got to go vote because you could make a change. Bullshit. Because we've all voted our whole lives. Nothing has changed because it doesn't matter. And every one of us knows that. We could vote for whoever the fuck we want to vote for. It's not changing it because they're going to do what they want regardless.
Because they're controlled by the corporate entities that are all up in your ass and stole and did everything the government is banned doing in the Constitution. The government cannot do these things, but these corporations.
Exactly. It's enough. It's enough.
It's like a foreign country coming in here and doing this to us. And it just happens to be named American Corporation.
Well, they do it. They do it anyway. Not countries.
It might as well be a foreign country, is my point. You get on here and Twitter, and these are not anymore, but on here and on other media sites like Facebook, they will limit your speech, even if what you're saying can be supported by positive facts.
Absolutely.
Their own left-wing websites, in the most time.
Absolutely.
And they will ban you and censor you, and that should be enough for people to say, let's go back to MySpace.
Click on Glitter is Forever and pull up that comment that says, I live in Ohio, Sarge, if you don't mind real quick.
Oh, hang on. How do I get that? Let me get over here. I was in the banner room here.
Yep. Knowledge is a fruit. I like that a lot too.
Here we are.
Yeah, good tattoo. I might get that. Okay. First of all, we're neighbors, Glitter, because I'm from Ohio too. I live in Ohio. It doesn't matter if you vote or not, because even if you vote and the majority wins, the government says, nope, we change your mind. We don't like that. It doesn't matter. And that is 500% correct, which is why I have the animosity I have towards the state that I live in. Right. But it's not just in Ohio, guys. It's everywhere because we allow for it to be. And if all of us stood up one day and said, you know what? Excuse my language, but fuck you. I built this state. I pay your fucking paychecks.
And it doesn't take
you work for me.
Listen, it doesn't take all of you. That's the best part is you don't need everybody in the state to oppose the state. What you need to do as a group is exactly what they do to you, right? And you use this particular technology to go after their actions. As an example, I bought meat today. Why the fuck do I got 5 or 6 meat accounts on my Facebook feed? I didn't look for them. I don't want to even know they exist, right?
They shouldn't have that right to invade your space that way, right?
Now, if you imagine if the White House we're getting constant emails about opening up America to recover its own oil for use, right? Imagine if they were getting hit with emails every freaking day and people sending emails to the media and people, it just takes, you could get a formatted email and somebody with any kind of internet savvy could put all the hyperlinks below that email and say, send this from your own email account. But here's all the hyperlinks. Here's who you can send it to in relation to this topic. And you can make it click, and you're done.
That's it. Here's another thing real quick. Mike DeWine, the governor of this amazing state that I live in, okay? His name is Mike DeWine. He says, we're going to do this and that for you and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. Nothing ever has happened because he is led around by his nose, by a leash, to do whatever the hell he's told. So he doesn't even exist, you guys. He's a short little guy that stands there and talks as a public figure. It doesn't make any difference what the hell he says. And I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of saying, okay, we need more money to make our roads better so we can drive. They don't spend it on that. So here's more money we're taking out of your pocket that you don't already have.
Here, let me ask you a question, folks. Does this sound unreasonable? I'm a smoker. So in New York, they tax cigarettes to the tune of $10 or $11 a pack.
He's not, Tammy.
Okay. And that's supposed to be because smokers cause more health concerns or health issues.
Exactly.
And so why is it that if I'm paying $11 a day in tax, why am I not given an insurance card? Why is that money that you're taxing me not being applied to the insurance that you claim I caused the rates to increase because I'm not paying for insurance or whatever your argument, or because I smoke? So when you tax that pack of cigarettes, then I suggest to you that on a daily basis, a medical card should be part of that package because you're paying $11 basically in tax. That's $330 a month in taxes you're paying, right? Why is a tax that's designed to offset medical expenses not a plan to give the person that smokes the opportunity to force them to buy medical insurance when they smoke?
Right.
I don't think they should have the right to do that either. But if you're going to do anything with that money, it should be spent in a more logical way.
But
just put it into the general fund. Listen, the cigarette tax could end up fixing a road.
Right.
It's not supposed to do that.
That's absolutely. And Sarge, but they give us a deal because they don't tax us for our food. How about that? That's a deal. We're lucky over here for that,
And we as Americans, though, have the power with this particular communication tool to actually cause change. And that's what I think most of us don't seem to understand. And every day we get up and we do the same thing with these electronic tools. And what we're doing are things that we were taught to do with these tools. And we don't realize the power of these tools.
Agreed. I do agree.
Yeah, I agree with you, Carl, on rising up during the pandemic. I think people needed to be reminded that as an American, right?
That's absolutely right.
You can choose. You have the right to choose whether you want.
Yes, Glitter. I'm in Ohio. I'm about 30 minutes south of Cleveland, roughly. But yeah, I agree 100% with that too, Carl. I said that years ago. People should have risen up during the pandemic, but they didn't. And I lost all hope that we, the people, should ever band together and do shit. That's fact. That is true.
I want to clarify what you're saying, Carl. Maybe you realize this, maybe you don't. We did rise up on their social media platforms and objected to what they were telling us, and they banned us.
Well, that's true too. Yes.
So let me just point this out, Carl. We acted up in a way that we were taught to act up in, and they were able to control what we were doing, and therefore we could never create a consensus and a grouping of people. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So as millions and millions of people objected to this particular situation, they were never really understood that they needed to get together and that this tool could provide that. What they would all do is go out and say what they wanted to say, and then they would be shut down by the social media sites. And that the only change we need to make is not each of us going out in the public and saying something, but each of us taking action or making statements to the people that are directly involved. For instance, a lot of the Catholic Church in America aids and assists in the illegal immigration issue. So how about the people connected to that church start sending letters to those people, start pointing amongst each other? and start, what's the point of going to church if you're only helping to destroy the country? I brought this up the other night. Everybody argues against reparations for blacks, but then you're going to scream and yell they're giving $2,315 to an illegal immigrant that comes into this country every month. Well, what the fuck's going on here? Why is that guy more entitled to it than the group of people that have been here for 400 years? Because let's be clear,
I agree.
blacks have been here since before most of all of you in this chat room. If you're American, most all of you showed up here after the mini ice age ended.
After,
the immigration purge from 1865 into the 1930s and 40s. That's where most of you come from, right? And so the black people literally have got more roots in America than the white people. I think if you look percentage wise, like if you did it on a math
right,
equation.
and they're treated the worst.
And yet you'll object to their suffering and pain getting any payment, but at the same time, you're going to object to an illegal immigrant getting it. But the point is, if anybody's going to get it, it should be another American, not some guy that came up across the border because the government thinks that's, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking.
It doesn't make any sense.
Your churches, your corporations are all aiding and abetting the government. Maybe you can't change the government. So what do? We go after those companies, corporations, and
I'll be honest with you, Sarge. That whole thing with that has got to be. I know exactly where you're at, by the way, Glitter. That's got to be. The government's getting something out of that. You know that, and I know that they're getting something out of that whole situation, or it wouldn't be happening right now. Okay, there's no way in hell that they would not be doing what they're doing without receiving something in return for it. So once that's figured out completely, there's theories about that, but then it'll be more understood. But it doesn't make any sense. They're going against everything that they have written against that kind of thing. For what reason? That's the problem with that. Okay.
I also want to answer something quickly before I get too mad about it. Only 1 in 10 families own slaves. You cannot trace it back to who actually owned slaves. But 99.9% of fucking white people discriminated against blacks. Can't ride the bus unless you're in this seat. Can't drink from that fountain. Can't come to this. Give it a break. It's not just about slavery.
No.
Right?
No, the discrimination was heavy, and it still is.
And it didn't end until the 60s or early 70s. And even
it still hasn't ended in some places, Sarge. It's sad.
Even then, man, it's like, who cares if Indians own slaves? These are not helpful to the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the greater understanding of what happened to this country when it came to slavery is more than just people that own slaves. It was a culture. It was a brainwashing of inferior beings.
What kind of a mental capacity? What kind of a mental capacity allow for you to say you can't drink out of the same water fountain I can because I'm going to get a disease?
Right.
You can't sit in front of me and on table. What the fuck?
Now, see, here's the other thing too. If you don't pay attention to the discrimination and the decades and decades, more than 100 years of it, right? Now, I'm not saying that we should be paying reparations to black people. I want to be very clear. That is not my position. I think it's a complex topic that needs much more understanding from everybody. But, it's funny that most whites only think the reparations are for slavery. Even most blacks, unfortunately, think reparations is for slavery. Even blacks themselves, like Black Lives Matter, they misunderstand so very much. It's not just slavery.
No.
Right?
No, because they're not the only ones involved.
We have to openly admit that we did suppress that population of people, that we did do them harm, that we did kill them and hang them, and that our police departments, even up into the modern days, take a different position with blacks than they do with whites. What's wrong with admitting that?
Well, because
what is wrong with that?
They have to admit to being wrong. That's the problem. And it's not just blacks, folks. It's not. It's gay. The gay lifestyle. There's my wife's family was involved in slavery, and she's Irish. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's all of it. But he's right. He's absolutely right. The discriminatory behavior has been going on for years and years and years. And why? Why has that been allowed?
Right. Well, I want to make a point here. Black Lives Matter this is where I was leading, just so you folks know. I usually have a fucking motive that I'm going to pop out on you. Black Lives Matter saying, Black Lives Matter telling us that the corruption is endemic in the system is 1 fucking trillion% correct. It's 1,000,000,000% correct. The training that's given to these officers, the behavior that they witness other officers perform, and they themselves adopt those fucking procedures, like putting your knee on the back of some guy's neck for 10 minutes, and then when he's dead, blaming the guy's death on the fact he's a drug addict. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want you putting your knee in the back of anybody's goddamn neck. And the problem is because we aren't able to discuss things in more depth, because everybody think, well, it's slavery. Yeah. 400 days, been slaves in so long, these people aren't entitled to any money. But the topic is so much deeper than that.
Yeah, it is.
And you get this concept in your head, like illegal immigration. If you don't think some of those people aren't fleeing tyranny, you're out of your mind. Some of them actually are.
Yes.
Right. And the whole conversation never gets discussed.
They're criminals.
People have their opinion, they have their belief, and I think it's bullshit. They're not owed reparations. And you know, maybe they're not owed reparations, but what they are owed is the dignity of discussion. And we disallow it. Look, you don't believe in global warming? I do not have an issue with you. But if that prevents you from having a dignified discussion between each other, then you're both fucking wrong. And you're both actually hurting yourselves.
Yeah, you should be able to discuss anything. That's fact.
Right. Anyway, this has gone on a lot longer than I thought, Dago.
Yes, and it was a good conversation. I very much appreciate it. I do, and I appreciate you having me here for it. That video was amazing, Sarge. Like I said, you're one of the good ones, and I appreciate that you made that, and very much respect you for it.
I appreciate that.
Everybody in here, I appreciate your input as well tonight, very much as well. I think it was a really good conversation. I'm very, very happy with it. So,
all right.
Make sure you hit that like button on the way out the door, please, if you will, folks.
Honestly, we did good on like we broke into 100 and something. So
yeah, that's good. We're at 121. That's awesome. We're in the algorithm. That's what matters. So,
right.
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Went up on more subscribers today too. 1,320.
I see that.
I was at
very good, very good stuff. Thank you guys for supporting the channel.
Have yourself a good night there, Dave. I'll keep the stream open for a minute when it closes. Just to have a parting comment with you.
Yeah, do your thing. Have a great night, Sarge.